Kia ora, g'day, and welcome to another episode of the Cricketers Network. My name's Ben Hurley. I am the host, and another huge week in the sport that we love around the world, but also in New Zealand, because domestic cricket finals were happening. There's also the Men's T20 World Cup. We are on the eve of a White Ferns series versus Zimbabwe. And who do I have here? Well, of course, it's the A-team. That's right, Suzie Bates and Ben Horne. Welcome to the Cricketers Network, guys.
Thank you.
How's it good? How's it going now? Let's talk quickly about your injury. I love the Suzie's injury update every single week.
Close. I've got another week here in Auckland, and then I join the squad in Dunedin just to tick a few more boxes, and then fingers crossed available for selection on the 15th. So we're less than 3 weeks away from playing, so it's been a long stint on the sideline. But
because I thought you'd got married, because every time I see your name it says Suzie Bates quadricep.
yeah.
I thought you'd married some
quadricep. No,
Dave
no.
Quadricep, and you double bang it.
No, but he did get married.
You did?
I did get married, yeah. Not to someone called Laura Quadricep, but...
Congratulations, all go
Thank you,
well.
mate.
Will Somerville, of course, was your
Will Somerville,
celebrant.
yeah, got his licence about 5 days out from the wedding, so the ebbs and flows and the stressful nature of it came to a head, which was good. He did a great job, as you'd expect the dad to do, so very special for Summers to be able to lead that ceremony for us.
Excellent. Did it break into a cricket game?
We could have fielded probably two full 11s if we needed to, but yeah, we had a bunch of Horns there, we had a bunch of ex-cricketers there. To be fair, Laura's family wouldn't be shy and rolling the arm over, so there was a bit of activity the next day, bit of hacky sack, that sort of stuff, but fortunately the willow didn't come out.
See, I've been at some weddings of some club cricketers, and there's generally some sort of cricket-themed photos. So a friend of mine, Heath Chittenden, got married quite young, but we got photos on Pukura Park where, you know, all the groomsmen were in the slips cordons, and she was holding a bat, and yeah, you didn't do any of that?
Oh, don't worry, I got some cheese ball photos. Yeah, we got some nice sock photos, some like lifting of the legs and all that sort of stuff, so there was some cheesy stuff going on.
No slip cordons though.
No slip cordons though, no.
Brilliant. Okay, look, now there's plenty to get through, but I think probably the biggest story of the week, we have a new White Ferns captain. Melie Kerr has been confirmed as, because they say the white ball captain, but there is only white ball cricket for the White Ferns. So, I mean, you know, pretty popular player. I'm going to ask you what your thoughts are, but I imagine they're pretty positive.
Yeah, it was always going to happen. It was just a matter of when, and I think now's the right time for Melie. You sort of, when she was younger coming through the ranks, you knew she had leadership potential, and tactically she's one of the best in the country, but yeah, it was just a balance of her being an all-rounder, and once she does it, she'll be doing it for a long time. So they've wrapped a lot of support around her, and yeah, it's exciting. She absolutely loves the game. She loves playing for the White Ferns, and yeah, it's kind of a new era for this White Ferns group moving forward, and she'll lead from the front like she has since she started playing, so it's going to be exciting.
I mean, you've done the job. Does it help your game?
I think certain players it really does, and yeah, some players it can be a burden, especially if you're a batter and a bowler and having to think about the game, and it's not just the on-field, it's the off-field things and managing the group. But I think for someone like Melie, who thinks about the game even when she's not captain, she's on the field thinking tactically, and she loves leading the group in terms of culture and what the group's about, and she's done it for so long at Wellington that I think she'll only be better for it. She's so competitive that I think being captain she'll want to lose even less than she already does, which I don't think is possible. So no, it's not going to be a burden. I just think the off-field stuff is making sure the group manage her and not getting her too involved in some of those decisions, so she can actually have a time away from the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, she creates pretty good vibes. You'd know Melie a bit, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a foreign role to her, right? Like, she's been doing it for the Blaze for years now, and I think, you know, she's at that great stage in her career where it, as Sue said, is the right time for her, and we see a lot of like key personnel who are really strong individual contributors for a long period of time, like craft their tactical nous and their nature in that regard, go into that captaincy, have a really fruitful period, and then at some point possibly pull back on the captaincy and go back to being an individual contributor, but a senior leader within the side nonetheless. So I think, you know, she's at that great stage in her career where she's really hungry, and obviously tactically astute and really wants that role. And I think, that's the first thing. You have to want to be captain. You can't just go in and not want to do it, because it is a big role in terms of a lot of sports around there. The cricket captaincy is probably far more of a like a mental kind of consumption position than a lot of other sports around the globe.
Yeah, it's a lot of on-field decisions, more than, you think of a rugby captain or something like that. They have to choose maybe if you're going to kick a goal or not, but constantly you're thinking who bowls next, and you're doing simple arithmetic in your head all the time as well, right?
Yeah, and I think that's why it suits Melie, because that's how she plays the game anyway.
Right.
Even when she's not officially captain, tactically, when Sophie and I have captained, she's been in our ears about ideas, especially with the spinners. She's pretty much captained the spinners the last couple of years. So I think for some people that's an extra burden, but for someone like Melie, since she was probably 14, 15, she's thought about that game that way. That's just naturally how she plays. She's always thinking, how do we get an upper hand, whether it's her with the ball or what other bowling options she thinks. So yeah, I think some people find that a big shift, but that's how she's played the game for so long that it won't be too much of a change, but she gets to actually make the decisions now rather than telling other people what to do.
Did you relish it when you got the role?
I was very different to Melie in the fact that I hadn't captained domestically. I'd captained my high school, Otago Girls high school team.
You'd hope so. Imagine if you didn't get that job.
And then got to Otago Sparks and hadn't actually captained. And so I sort of...
Who was the captain?
Sarah Sukigawa, who is our current New Zealand selector. She was someone I played under for years. And it was difficult when you have someone like that. And this is a little bit of a challenge with Melie. When you have someone that's captained, sometimes it's hard to step in because you're sort of looking at them for reassurance rather than when you're left without previous captains, you sort of have to make the decision. But yeah, I sort of was a reluctant captain at first because I hadn't done much of it. But once I got into the role, and I had Gary Stead at the time, who was a great mentor in terms of helping with the on-field stuff, and yeah, I ended up loving it, whereas I think Melie's loved it from day one.
Yeah, right. Where you been? Did you do much captaincy?
Yeah, I captained Auckland a little bit. Probably a slightly different role from behind the stumps, and I think we've seen through the Super Smash with keepers captaining and trying to get in touch with the bowlers, particularly at the end of the innings, with lots of variations and change-ups and all that sort of stuff. It is slightly different because getting there and getting back, but I think probably naturally the keeper takes on a bit of a lieutenant role anyway, in terms of field settings, working with spinners and that sort of stuff. So regardless of whether you're sort of captain or not as a keeper, I feel like you're always involved in the game. So I was pretty happy to be lieutenant to Robbie O'Donnell for a long time, and just kind of being there and thereabouts.
What about you?
Have I done any captaincy? Not in cricket. I used to captain I captained my high school hockey team.
Well, you didn't captain yourself when you retired out for 14 or 14, did you?
No, I didn't.
No.
Do you know what? I watched the Black Clash, and I think at one point Kieran Reid was 7 off 14. I was like, better retire yourself.
Did he?
He did not. No,
he didn't.
No, he actually hit a couple of boundaries then. So the Zimbabwe tour starts, tonight when we're recording this, the T20, you're not quite fit enough. Now, we talked about this some weeks ago, maybe even months ago, and I said, any idea about the Zimbabwe team? And you didn't have a lot of idea. But hey, look how well the men's team is going.
Well, no, Kate Ibrahim.
Yes, of course.
Nee Broadmoor, I played a lot of cricket with Kate.
Canterbury?
She was Canterbury, played some for Otago. She was in the White Ferns when I was captain.
Yes.
She is coach.
Cracker.
She is. So
she's really funny.
She's already actually called me in for some help in Dunedin, and I'm not sure what the I'm not trained, so can I help Zimbabwe? I don't know what the deal is, but I'll definitely go down and have a chat to Kate. So that's pretty exciting for her to be an international coach. And look, I know I played for Durham last year all season, and Durham actually go on a yearly tour to Zimbabwe, the men and women. So
cool.
The Durham girls have played against Zimbabwe. So it's going to be a little bit unknown. We don't have a lot of information about them, but very exciting for them to be in this ICC championship, and they're only going to get better. So yeah, no more information than last time other than the head coach.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. I actually thought Kate was playing. I thought that's what you meant.
No, she was. I think she was trying to play, but I think there may be some visa situation.
I see.
So she's ended up coaching, and her husband Dion is the assistant coach, Zimbabwe. So
Yeah. So he's in
He's
Sri
in the
Lanka,
World
India.
Cup,
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
In some ways, it's quite refreshing though, because the content that you have access to around these players and plans and all that sort of stuff, like you could just go out and react a little bit, which is quite nice, and learn as you go and that sort of stuff. So there'll be refreshing nature to that as well, I reckon.
A couple of new faces. Now you, Ben, may have as good an idea as anybody because you've been commentating the Super Smash all summer, but Nancy Patel and Kaylee Knight, any insight there?
Yeah, cool to see. Particularly Kaylee runs in hard, hits the wicket hard, has a good bumper, which we saw throughout. I was commentating with Neil Wagner a few times, and he got pretty fired up about that, which is good.
Oh, he loves it. doesn't he?
Also, just throws herself around in the field and can actually hit a pretty big ball with bat in hand if needed as well. So certainly an exciting talent. I mean, it's always cool when you get a new fast bowler coming through, right? It's always quite fun and refreshing to see. So yeah, excited to see how Kaylee goes. And then
Have you faced her, Suze?
Yes, I have.
She quick?
Yeah, she does get it through. She's quite skiddy as well. And I think seasons before she was bowling quick but didn't quite have the accuracy, whereas this season I think she's matched that pace with accuracy, and that's what's impressed the selectors. So yeah, it's nice to have a young fast bowler who does really try and get it through, and it'll be good to see how she goes in these upcoming games.
Who's the fastest still? Is it still Leah?
Well, I feel like it just is it depends. Like sometimes you can get a bowler fresh downwind with a little bit of a green seamer and it feels quicker. Molly Penfold, when she's a bit angry downwind, can get it through. I think even Bree.
She's got a high action too, Molly, so she's probably a bit of bounce.
And Bree Elaine actually has a bit of pace, so there's probably a handful, Leah, Rosemary Mayer, that are all hit the bat similar, but I didn't play this season, so I might get in the nets and I might get a bit of chin music now. I probably left someone out.
I remember interviewing Rosemary Mayer once, and literally using that term, chin music. Like, do you ever do that? And she goes, no, we don't really do that. And I could see her go, maybe I should.
Yeah, she's not really a nasty fasty Rosemary, but
No,
she
she's
could
too
be.
nice.
Yeah, and
Good
she just sort of bowls.
Central District country girl.
Yeah, she just get a bit angry.
She just loves hitting the stumps, doesn't she?
Yeah, which is effective.
Yeah.
And
That is
yeah.
effective,
Yeah.
Nancy Patel?
Yeah, well, obviously been around the domestic game for a long period of time. It'll be great to see her get an opportunity. She's pretty electric at backward point in the Super Smash, which is good, and obviously provides sort of all facets of the game, can bowl actually sort of where you need her to throughout the innings, has sort of bowled up top and through the middle as well, and then can play different roles with bat in hand and has batted at different areas in the order, so pretty versatile cricketer. So yeah, awesome for her to get an opportunity as well.
Yeah, nice. Actually, I want to talk about fielding, because I heard a theory recently that all the great fielders that we think of in the, well, maybe predominantly in the men's game, your Jonty Rhodes, your Chris Harris, those sorts of players, the infield greats, these sort of outfield greats now, like, I don't know, Glenn Phillips or whatever. But the infield greats, you don't have them as much anymore because the bats are bigger and the ball travels too fast.
No, and I think 20 over cricket as well, like the nature.
Goes in the air too much.
Well, no, you like in the White Ferns, you want outside the first six, you want your best fielders on the boundary, like mid wicket, square leg.
Fastest, cover the most ground.
That's where the ball's going. So I think.
Because you used to put them at point, right?
Yeah, point extra cover, whereas now you almost hide fielders. The ones that come throw a run fast.
Name names. Who?
Myself. But yeah, it's changed. 50 over cricket, still mid wicket, extra cover are really important for saving those ones. But because we play so much 20 over cricket, we have like Georgia Plummer just sit at mid wicket, run boundary to boundary, and then open the batting. Poor thing.
Yeah, she's good out there, isn't she? Deep mid wicket.
So do you think that's there's like legs to that theory that just the ball travels faster now?
What's the covering the most ground when you don't have the ability to have as many people out on the boundary? So if you've got one person out on the leg side, you want them to be your fastest player because either side of them it'll come off before.
I guess it's a different skill set though, and it's not necessarily just covering ground, but that kind of fast reactions. That's what made Jonty Rhodes and Harry so great, right? The diving in the field type thing. You just don't see that player as much anymore.
No, and I feel like boundary saving is more, like people are trying to hit boundaries more often in 50 over or 20 over cricket, so the boundary saving becomes more important than they're almost happy to give up a one.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Yeah,
you sort of
true.
sit on the circle, and if it's a 1, it's all.
I do feel like Glenn Phillips will argue with you there because he's taken some absolute speckies at backward point recently in the 50
Yeah,
over
that's
format.
true.
Both
Yeah,
both
true,
hands,
true.
both sides. So I think, as Suze alluded to, 50 overs, backward point is super important. 2020 is possibly you
Less so.
put more so into the boundary riders.
Yeah, you're probably happy to give them one, yeah, as you say. All right, let's have a look at the men's T20 World Cup. So Black Caps, 1 loss and 1 washout when we are recording this. We've got, so washout against Pakistan, and we have Sri Lanka to come. I don't know if you can relate to World Cup games getting washed out in Sri Lanka, Suzie. but-
It was past my bedtime, but I woke up to check the score, and I thought, oh, washout, you got to be kidding. Yeah, that brought back bad memories. Oh, Paul Wiseman was away with the under-19s and the White Ferns, and I think he was involved in 5 washouts at World Cup.
So he's Rain Man.
Yeah, I don't think he was at this one, but yeah, it's just such a shame when you go to a world event and it's a big matchup to not get a game, but at least it's not going to affect their chances too much. But yeah, you just want to be playing cricket at those pinnacle events against all the teams, so it's just a shame.
It is. I think though it does affect us. I think we have to win every game now. I don't think we can drop one now.
Depending on results, I suppose. But yeah, it's just a shame that cricket's not getting played, right? Like the broadcasting has been awesome throughout this comp. Like 3 games in a day leading up to the Super 8s. That's been cool to watch. Like we had a couple of New Zealand games at 6:30 p.m. Great watching. So I think from just a cricket fan perspective, it's just disappointing in general. Like regardless of like the outcome of the tournament and that sort of stuff. So yeah, fingers crossed for no more rain for the rest of the comp.
Yeah. So the form team looks like South Africa. They just beat India, but they're not unlike our own side. Tend to struggle at the back end of a competition.
Yeah. Well, they probably shook that when they won the World Test Championship final.
You would hope, right?
So they got
same with New Zealand, by the way.
So they've got some silverware in the cabinet. But yeah, they have looked strong. I think it's been a batting tournament, frankly. Like the outfields have been quick, the pitches have been true, and the boundaries have been pretty short. So the teams that have been able to find a way with ball in hand are the teams that are looking dangerous. And you've got the likes of Rabada and Goody for South Africa, Janssen coming from like a 10-foot height or something like that.
Yeah.
So plus their spinners have found a way to make the conditions work to them. So I think that's probably what you've seen. Like a lot of these good sides have been probably stronger in the batting side of things than they have in the bowling this far, and I don't think it's a skill thing. I think it's a conditions thing.
Right.
I do think it's hard in these World Cups though, like the form team, like they've played in different conditions. It's sort of all about getting to the semi-finals, and then anything can happen. So I think all the teams are probably just focused on once you get to the semis, then it's who turns up on that day, because anyone can beat anyone. And the fickle nature of 20 over cricket, you get a batter have a day out, or you make a couple of mistakes in the field, and that can be your day. And I think England haven't looked perhaps their strongest, but if they get to the semi-finals, they're going to be as dangerous as anyone.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, I wanted to talk about that because that's the thing that's quite often said is in T20 cricket, if one player has a day out, then it's kind of game over. I feel like the game is developing somewhat, and it isn't just that now. I think you actually need more like 3 or 4 players to stand up. When you think about when New Zealand played Canada, for example, like they had one player have a day out. They still lost. When Zimbabwe beat Australia, and we'll get onto that a bit more in a second, but when Zimbabwe beat Australia, there wasn't one player that stood out. It was like a real team bowling performance. Is that just the game developing now?
Well, I think the partnership perspective from a bowling side of things is probably more prevalent. Like you can have a day out as a bowler, but still you can only contribute to 20% of the overs, right? But as a batter, you can probably contribute to 60% of the runs.
True.
So the bowling partnerships piece is really, really important. And I always talk about like, closing out overs, balls 5 and 6, and setting up your mate at the other end for momentum in your favour is really important. And if you can dovetail well as a bowling unit, it just sets you up for a good piece of momentum, and you're feeling good about your game. Fielders are engaged, they're fired up, and things fall into place a bit more naturally probably.
And I think it's happening now in the women's game that teams are picking bowlers who can bat. You know, it's not just picking 7 batters and then your bowlers. They want everyone to be all-round cricketers so that you can go hard from top to bottom. Whereas I think initially T20 cricket was sort of like, well, we've only got 20 overs, 6 or 7 batters, and then we'll pick our bowlers. Whereas now it's like your number 8 could win you a game and they can bat as well. So
well, yeah, a friend of the show and co-host Jimmy Neesham batting at 8 for New Zealand. Like, he wouldn't have batted down there too often really in T20 cricket, I wouldn't imagine. But I think the development in the game is, it used to be if you lost 3 wickets in the power play, it was game over really. But now you've got a Jimmy Neesham at 8, you can still salvage that innings, right?
Yeah, I mean, you look at someone like Daryl Mitchell, who can bat 3 or 4 in our one-day team and, you know, score the bulk of the runs in an innings, and he's coming in at 6, right? So if you lose 3 wickets in the power play, you've still got a top order batter coming through the middle. You know, if you've got like the likes of Phillips, Chapman, Mitchell coming through the middle, who all are top order players, you know, it's that depth that they know how to bat in different situations. I think like potentially someone like Glenn Phillips, he's come a long way from a maturity perspective in the last 3 years as well, around timing and pacing a T20 innings and that sort of stuff. So you've got that ability to have your power hitters a little bit lower now as well, as long as Sue said, they can bowl a couple of overs.
Yeah, players like him are invaluable, aren't they? Because he could bowl his full quota as well. He could bowl 4 overs. All right, Australia knocked out of the competition. They lose to host Sri Lanka. That's forgivable. They also lose to Zimbabwe, as we just alluded to. Now, how do we feel about this?
So sad.
It's different now, don't you think? A little bit around the Australian men's team. I don't know necessarily if there was that same feeling with the women's team, but the Australian men's team were, you know, the villains of world cricket for so long, but this side less so. So is there the same level of schadenfreude that we have because they've got kicked out?
Yeah, I feel like their 20 over team is quite different to their test team now. So there's not a crossover of players, and they, you know, Pat Cummins, Hazelwood being out has probably affected them more than like people have said. But I think when you're at a world event, it's a shame when Australia, as a fan, it's a shame when Australia aren't at the back end, because they're winners and they've won a lot. But yeah, it's great for Zimbabwe. Like, no one saw that coming, and the confidence that their captain's spoken with about that this isn't a surprise to them, and yeah, it's been just fascinating to watch it unfold. But yeah, like a little bit as a fan, I love seeing Australia play, but yeah, I'm not too upset.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I've been wrong, Ben.
Well, as a fan, yeah, I agree. As a patriot, I'm loving it, you know.
And the Olympics might help us with the Olympic qualification.
Yeah,
so what do we need to do for that?
Well, I think
I thought surely we're in that.
I think if we make the semis, we're in, aren't we?
If we make the semis, then we get that Oceania. I don't actually know, so don't quote me, but apparently that helps us with that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, because I think it's a continent thing, right? And then one from each continent, and the rest have to go into probably quite an aggressive qualifying to get those last couple of spots. So watch this space, I suppose. What went wrong? Well, it seems like they did the same thing that they accused England of doing in the Ashes in terms of under-preparing and coming in a bit cold. I've seen a couple of articles around that. Those are not my words.
They went to Pakistan and got absolutely shellacked. So they did prepare, but they got beaten, right?
Yeah.
Is there something like, do they, Cricket Australia, put more resource and energy into the Ashes? You know, that's a pinnacle.
Certainly.
So that's their pinnacle event, but for the rest of the world, this is our pinnacle event. So it's hard to kind of peak for. I'm not making excuses.
No. I mean, it makes sense. But for me, like, they've got a pretty strong T20 competition. Surely you just pick out of that and add a few that didn't play, and that's your team. Like, I guess maybe the Big Bash isn't quite as strong as what we think it is. It just looks good on telly.
Oh, it's a good comp. I just think it often thinks it's a lot better than our comp, where I think our comp's got pretty good parity, where you see someone like Finn Allen topping the run sheets in the Big Bash, you know. I think to an extent that validates our Super Smash competition in terms of its quality. So yeah, happy to see that.
Yeah, I think you're right though, Suzie. Like, I'm not sure that they value T20 cricket. Like, international obviously they love the Big Bash. They get huge crowds, but I'm not sure the international team gets quite the same gravitas.
No, and like, I'm just thinking more as a player and an athlete, like you mentally and physically prepare for the Ashes, and then you sort of get to the end of it, and it's hard to kind of keep staying motivated and to peak for every event. So like those players like Travis Head sort of like gets himself up for the Ashes, and then that kind of ends, and then he's off to a World Cup. And so I just think mentally maybe it's tough for them, to get back up after such an intense Ashes series, which they did so well. But that's also what they're rewarded for. Their success in the Ashes is from Australia. So I don't know. That's just how I see it mentally. It's just being able to peak constantly when they play so much cricket.
Yeah. It's great for Zimbabwe. Like, I'm a bit older than you guys, but Zimbabwe used to be, like, not a force, but definitely an up-and-coming team. Like we might
early
consider.
2000s, right? Heath Street, the Flowers, those
Heath
sorts of
Street,
guys.
yeah.
I mean, it was a slightly low ebb of New Zealand cricket. I remember a game right here at Eden Park where we lost a series to Zimbabwe, not a test series, a one-day series, and the opening bowler was Craig McMillan. Our Craig McMillan opened our bowling.
Thank you.
Now, useful, not necessarily an opening bowler, but we had so many injuries and all our best players were out. And, it's just not normally his job.
Was he bowling with the speed dealers on?
Whatever he was, actually.
I'm sure I've seen footage of
I
that.
mean, he used to be able to get it through, just not probably for 6 balls in an over.
Yeah, but his like chat, I reckon, would have made it feel
Totally.
we didn't go faster.
Yeah. Niggly. But also vindicated for Zimbabwe that they beat Sri Lanka as well.
Totally.
And a good performance and a decent run chase. It's not, I think, 2020 cricket, it can be one-sided at times if you just have a bad day. And Australia might say they had a bad day, but Zimbabwe had a couple of good ones and good ones against good teams. So full credit to them on qualifying top of the table in their pool. Like, it's great to see, and it's great for the game. And the rest of the sort of more associate nations have been really competitive and taking it to the quote-unquote big guys. This competition, this campaign, there's been quite a few upsets, and I think that is only going to be good for the growth of the game globally, right?
Resurgent African cricket all round, really. What's been the key for South Africa, do you think, having our franchise T20 competition?
Well, that's been good, that comp, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's been really good. And it's produced a lot of good, a lot of those top order batters are doing really well in the IPL as well. They've the Cox come out of retirement, Markram's there, Rickleton, he's like another de Kock. Then they've got Brevis and Stubbs and David Miller, who are all powerhouses in their own right. So that's a pretty formidable top 6 they're looking at. And then with the sort of 3-4 prong pace battery and a couple of good spinners, it's a really well balanced team.
Yeah. When they start saying David Miller's the old man of the team, that's when I start to feel old. I feel like he's not been around that long, but apparently he has.
Yeah, but how old Brevis would be I think they're quite young, those guys.
What's his first name? Brevis?
DeVault.
That's an absurd name.
DeVault. I forgot we
Power tools. Yeah.
That's it, isn't it?
They're all quite jacked as well. So maybe there's got something to do
I
with it.
think they look
High protein
incredibly
diet.
fit. Like they look like
They only eat
super
steak.
fit and like powerful, athletic. They look like what you'd want a 20
True.
cricket team to look like. And like Ben said, they've all had experience in the IPL, and like their middle order is just absolutely stacked with power. So the those batters up the top, it's like they're almost stacked the middle, and you've still got de Kock and Markram. They've just got a gun team.
I don't mean to play the victim here, but if we had Marco Jansen in our team, there's no way he'd stay fit.
He's tall, isn't he?
He's tall and thin, and I don't know. There's that whole theory, we're really getting into the weeds now, but there's that whole theory that we have a lot of injuries in New Zealand because we train indoors. Have you ever heard that? On concrete.
I feel like we don't train indoors as much. Like there's the Marquez and Hobsons. I feel like none of them, they'd refuse to bowl indoors, I feel like.
But just when you're like a kid though, aren't you?
Oh yeah, true.
Aren't you doing getting these stress fractures
the
from that
epicenter,
age?
that's definitely concrete.
Yeah.
Yeah, potentially, I don't
The
know.
produce hall for Howrah United Cricket Club, that's where I got my stress fractures.
Oh, there's South Africa though.
Was that playing cricket or was that doing something else?
We're talking about how good South Africa are, but you've probably talked about this on the show. But the game against Afghanistan, I couldn't go to, and like they should have lost that. Like
Twice.
That was unbelievable.
That was Afghanistan's best game. Like they were actually a bit disappointing. A lot of people had them in the top 4.
Yeah, in those conditions, I think everyone thought their spinning attack. But yeah, I couldn't turn it off. I was like, this is just.
It was unreal, eh?
Yeah.
2 super overs. Imagine the opportunity to play a second super over in a World Cup. That would be good.
Yeah, no, that'd
and
be
not
nice.
count boundaries or some rubbish loophole that they don't use anymore. All right, finally, the domestic one-day comps finished in the weekend, and this will be a shock to everybody. Canterbury lost the final, but this actually is a shock. The Blaze get taken down. Huge upset from Northern District. Suzie.
Yeah, yes, but I also think Indy this year in both 20 over cricket and 50 over cricket have been one of the most consistent teams. A little bit unlucky to lose in the eliminator to Auckland, but the way they've played as well, they've taken the power play on in both formats, and they've got a really handy bowling unit that just hit the stumps. So it wasn't a huge surprise. I think the fact that Melie came back and played and had scored 100 the week before, that was the key wicket, and she obviously didn't get as many, and I thought potentially 180 wasn't quite enough, but they bowled the house down, and yeah, pretty exciting. I think they haven't won. I think I saw something, maybe won it ever.
Yep.
Yeah,
First time.
I think there were Spooners 2 years ago. Where's they?
Yeah, no, they've
Come a long way in a short time.
They haven't. They've been able to consistently have the same group together, and
Sure.
the coach has done a really good job, especially in 20 over cricket. I think they play the right brand of cricket. They take the game on. So yeah, just stoked for another team. Unfortunately, it wasn't the Sparks season, but next year.
Well, they're missing a couple of key players. You commentated this game, Ben?
I commentated the 4 trophy final.
Yes.
Stags versus Canterbury.
It was quite the opposite. It was a
game.
high-scoring game.
Yeah, it was. And credit to the Wellington ground staff and curators for putting on a wicket that could yield 600 runs on the 3rd day of cricket in a row. But yeah, 2 big partnerships. Nichols and Latham, they've been doing it all comp, top 2 run scorers. And then Young and Heafy usurped them. 185 partnership, 257 for Young and Heafy, and that was a hell of a watch.
Yeah.
Really well paced. Youngie sort of put the foot down when he decided he wanted to get going and didn't look back from there. They sort of like changed roles a little bit. Curtis kind of started a little bit hotter. Youngie was watching kind of his way in, and then they changed and Curtis became the foil, and a really well-paced run chase and a great game to watch. Canterbury didn't do much wrong. They just came up against a couple of guys who were on a heater.
And as a neutral, like you're pretty happy that with that result?
Well, I was commentating. I was sitting between Willie Nichols and Ajaz Patel. So, and Jazzy was wearing a green T-shirt, so he wasn't letting his feelings hit him.
Hey, why was Ajaz not playing?
He's got a calf injury, so he's coming back for Plunkett Shield. So I think he played 4 games in the campaign, but yeah, he was getting pretty fired up at the end, which was cool.
So what's next for the future of one-day cricket in New Zealand? I mean, is that competition going to get shortened, do you think? Because it's in 2 bits, right? They play a bit at the start, but at the end, same with HBJ, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. It'll depend what happens with 20 over cricket.
Yeah.
But I think for the women's game, the HBJ is really important for development. So yeah, playing everyone twice, however that looks, is really important. But it is split a little bit. But like the girls, they're finished. Like the men have four days left, whereas the season, unless you're involved in internationals, done. So it's quite a short season.
Yeah, true.
For the girls, and they don't go back to club cricket. There's not often
There's not much
cricket,
left. Yeah.
So they're sort of just finished. Till November.
Unless you make the New Zealand side.
I think it's important to keep that one-day competition relevant. Like I just look as far as England, and they've got their NatWest T20 and their 100, and then their one-day campaign, the Royal London, is on during the 100. So a lot of those key personnel aren't playing. So they're all second string's the wrong word, but it's certainly a weakened team that's playing in that 50 over competition, and you sort of go, okay, well, is the purpose of this competition to produce better domestic cricketers for the other comps, or is it to produce England one-day players? And I'd argue that it's certainly not to produce England one-day players, because they're getting picked out of T20 as it is. So
Well, they're getting picked for test matches sometimes.
exactly,
Jacob Bethel.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's just like being really clear on what is the purpose of this competition and like can we keep it relevant,
Right. Thanks for all that wonderful punditry by both of you. Now I've come up with a new segment which we're going to finish the podcast, and it's called Would You Rather. Now we've all played Would You Rather.
I was going to say, you're not claiming you've come up with that, have you?
Yeah, no.
Invented today.
I invented that today. Usually a drinking game, so I've tried to. We don't have to drink.
I only got water.
So
Can we?
just some scenarios. You can if you want, absolutely. Yeah, we'll take a quick break while Ben goes to the liquor store.
There's a bottle of wine.
There is a bottle there. Bottle of wine's been there for a while.
All right. It's not the Ross Taylor 181, is it?
No, it's not. No, I finished that. Polished that off of it very quickly.
Jacob's Creek.
Jacob's Creek. Oh yeah, well, they might become a sponsor. I won't say anything more. Okay, so two very simple, and just say what you'd rather do. All from the world of cricket, of course. Would you rather drop a sitter and then next ball take a screamer, or drop a screamer and next ball take a sitter? Same player.
Drop a sitter and take a screamer. Highlights. I'm all about the highlights.
Yeah. A lot of this is actually about are you a glory player or not?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same. I've actually done that before as well.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, been the sitter and followed it up with a screamer. It's quite vindicating.
Yeah, I bet. It's like that's it. It's a redemption story, right?
Yeah.
There's the greatest clip in the world, of course. The big guy, it's like village cricket, and there's the big guy drops a sitter at slit, and he takes the greatest catch
Round
you've
the
ever
bases,
seen.
yeah. Oh, that's a beauty in that.
Okay, so you're both
chasing the highlights.
you're both chasing the highlights on that one. Would you rather fall on your back avoiding a bouncer, or take the body blow?
I'd fall on my back. Well, that's actually sometimes what I do, is just sort of, and then I end up, I want to be cool and just sway, but I end up.
No, I mean really, they put you on your backside.
Oh, like,
yeah. So it's embarrassing. This is testing embarrassment over toughness.
I don't want to be, I don't want to bruise, just, I'll get over it.
Yeah. I'd definitely fall on the back. I don't want to get hit.
You don't want to
No,
get hit?
I don't
Okay,
want to get hit.
okay, good. That's good to know. Would you rather get a first ball duck or out for 4 off 10?
If it's 50 over cricket, if it's 20 over cricket.
Yeah, no, well, let's say one day cricket, yeah.
One day cricket, 4 off 10, like,
You'd
got
still
4
rather
runs.
get 4 runs?
Yeah,
Okay.
off 10, if it was 20 over cricket, I'd rather not waste any balls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Goldie.
I'd much rather get a goldie too.
Yeah.
I got a good one first out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's almost like an excuse.
It is. It's absolutely an excuse, yeah. Didn't have my own, just got a cracker.
Yeah, that's right. But if you've scratched
Wafted it a
4
wide
ugly
way.
runs off
Yeah, but
10
4
balls,
off 10 in one day cricket, that's a good start for me. I'm happy. And it might have been a boundary, and I'm like, oh.
is that worse though? Because then the commentary goes, oh, she got a start.
Yeah, it's
I
not-
mean,
it's-
4's not a start,
yeah, no,
but
it's- yeah.
12's a start. Okay. Okay, you went different on that one, that's fine. Would you rather get strangled down leg or run out deflection at the bowler's end? Just trying to think of 2 bad ways to get out.
Deflection.
Not your fault?
Not your fault.
At the bowl, yeah, same. I feel like that's the best way to get out sometimes.
Do you?
No, yeah, nothing to.
Yeah.
Well, people would say you could back up better, but like.
Had
sometimes-
100 in me today.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just bad luck.
See, I'd hate that. I'd think the universe was against me.
Yeah, but what are you going to do about, like, you sometimes that's better than you missing a straight one, and that's all your fault.
That's why I never played professional cricket. Would you rather stroll out and hit 6 off the last ball to win, or hit 100 but you get out with the team needing 30?
Do you lose that game?
No, no, that's a confession. I hadn't thought about that. No, you still win. But you don't know that at the time.
100 in the losing side's peak performance, isn't it?
100 on the losing side is smugness in the changing room.
I feel like it's 6 off the last ball. I don't know if I've done that
Yeah,
to win
6
a
would
game.
be, 6 off the last ball.
Just for your stride rate stat, being 600.
No, just because I feel like that's such a that's like a boss
Such a
move.
flex.
Yeah, that is like.
Well, so I
just
reckon the
mic
excitement as well. Like, no one's expecting you to win that game, and then you win it. Whereas, like, if you get 100, you need 30 more. You're probably just going to win it anyway.
Okay.
Victory from the jaws of defeat.
Yeah, okay. All right, what about, and you're both batters, so I'm going to keep it as this, but there is a bowler equivalent. Would you rather always get exactly 40 runs, no matter what, or have the career you had?
Definitely
Or have.
40.
Yeah, average of 40.
Definitely
but-
40.
You never get 100. You never get a 50.
Yeah, no, I'd stay with what I've had. The highs and lows, It's what makes you tough.
Yeah.
All my stats would be better if I got 40 at Worlds.
Well, I was trying to think of the bowling equivalent. For bowlers, I'm going to do 2 for 40 off 10. Is that about 40 runs?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Oh, that's good though. Average of 20 every game.
Okay, so 2 for 50 maybe?
I reckon it'd be like 1 for 40.
1 for 40. Is 40 off with the bat, do you reckon? Okay, that's
I
good.
don't know.
No, maybe not.
I'll give it to you guys.
2 for 45.
240, but okay.
Yeah.
Very diplomatic. And last one, this is called the Ronke test. Luke Ronke played 1 test for New Zealand. He scored 88 off 70, but never played again because there just wasn't room in the team. So would you rather do that, or have played like 12 games for New Zealand and done okay, but just kind of been phased out because it wasn't quite good enough? I'm not going to say who that is, but it's a lot of players.
These
right?
days I'd play, because what, $10,000 a test match?
See about the bunks of cricketers,
Yeah,
eh?
that's it, yeah.
Yeah. So you'd rather be Luke Ronke in tests?
No, I'd be the other one.
Oh, you want the
I wanna
12?
play
Oh, sorry, you
more,
wanted
yeah,
more
yeah.
money.
I
Yes, of
wanted more
course.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd take the 12 because I think you get the opportunity to go to more places as well.
Right, so it's about the travel for you.
Well,
It's
it's
about the money for you and tourism for you.
but free travel, but yeah.
Yeah.
So roundabout way, it's
But
also about
aren't you
money.
you're a bit aggrieved if you've played one, actually,
Yeah.
Felicity Layden-Davis retired, and I didn't realise this stat, but she had played one day for New Zealand, got a fifer.
Wow.
She's never played again. Like, I'd be like calling the
Who was
selectors. Felicity Layden-Davis.
Right. That's well, I've never heard of her because she played one
I
game
think
for New
she
Zealand.
played one game, got a fifer, and then I do think there was a bit of a break, and she might have had back injuries and.
Right,
but
right.
that stat, I was like, wow, excuse me, my one game, I've got fifer.
Yeah. Was it
Yeah.
Rodney Redmond who played
he got
one
100.
test and he got 100 and a 50 and then never played again?
Yeah. Did World War II get in the way? What was
Yeah, I
that?
think he got like an eye injury or something.
Oh,
Still.
is that it? Okay.
Still.
Yeah, no, he's a very famous case, but I was trying to think of a more contemporary example. Yeah, probably Ronke. I mean, had a very good white ball career, obviously, but played 1 test at Headingley and got 88.
But I guess he
smashed
was
it.
considered a keeper, so he was only getting, was he only getting
Yeah,
inside as
but yeah,
BJ got hurt,
BJ,
got his knee hurt, so he played as a batter and then Ronks kept. That's stuff from me, eh? Knowing that, yeah.
So you'd still rather play the 12 games and just
Yeah,
kind
obviously
of
the treble.
the travel and the money. Okay, well, I think we all know. There's a lot.
The way to our hearts.
Yeah.
Very clear and
That's
evident.
why I asked Tim Robinson the other week. I said, why are so many cricketers financial advisors? He goes, us is quick cash, just like cricket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
classic.
it is. Yeah.
Classic T20 cricketer Tim Robinson. Thank you so much for coming on and chatting all things beautiful game, wonderful game, beautiful game. It's football, isn't it? We need a name for our game. It's a cult game.
Cult.
Yeah, it's a bit of a cult, isn't it?
The long game.
The long game. Oh, I like that.
Not so much anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not so much.
true.
Yeah. Also, it's not much of a cult when it's like the second most watched sport in the entire world. Anyway,
The global game.
the global game. That's nice. Thank you to Suzie Bates and Ben Horne, and we'll see you next week. Cheers.